You're watching ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's.
We welcome you to paradise, Maui, Hawaii. Picturesque scenery abounds in this tropical oasis, where the sun-splashed beaches serve as a relaxing antidote for the high-energy hoops on display in the 2011 EA Sports Maui Invitational, live from Lahaina. Welcome to the 2011 EA Sports Maui Invitational. Not a better place to spend your vacation. And this year, in particular, not a better early season test for our 8 featured teams. To say this year's tournament field is loaded may be an understatement. With tradition-rich programs, perennial powerhouses, including 3 of the top 8 winningest schools in college basketball history. The teams have combined to win a total 20 national championships. Today, we bring you the first of 12 games over the next 3 days on the ESPN family of networks. And now look at our brackets for the tournament. And we started off in just a few moments with Memphis and Michigan, to be followed a short while later by Duke and Tennessee. This might be the deepest field I've ever had in Maui.
I think it is when you consider the history of college basketball that runs through the likes of the jerseys of Duke and Kansas, UCLA and Michigan that are on the island right now. This is a power-packed field. 2 out of the last 3 national champions started their title run by cutting down the nets here in Maui. What's at stake this week? Do you know how to win a championship and what it takes? The team that does it leaves here with a lot of momentum, but most importantly, you've learned how to win a championship. Who gets it done this week?
Let's preview game 1 now. Memphis and Michigan. Michigan got real hot down the stretch, grabbed an NCAA tournament bid, nearly knocked off Duke in March Madness, and the Memphis Tigers won Conference USA.
That was a team, though, with Darius Morris, who's no longer with Michigan. So who do they have that can go make a play against the speed and quickness of Memphis? Michigan so far, they've only averaging about 60 points a ball game. I think it's because they lack that guy that can just break you down and go get a basket, something that they will need against the Memphis Tigers. And speaking of Memphis, I think that the fastest team speed we have right now in college basketball. Speed kills, no matter if it's on the mainland or on the islands. The question I have about Memphis, not in a power conference, this is a big stage to handle. How does Memphis handle Maui? If they handle it well, Josh Pash and his guys just might cut down the nets.
I can't wait to get started. We've had enough sun. Time to get off the boat and get on shore and get this tournament tipped off. And we welcome you inside the Lahaina Civic Center in Maui, Hawaii for the EA Sports Maui Invitational. Number 8 Memphis taking on number 15 Michigan. All part of Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. A look at the Michigan starting lineup now. Tim Hardaway, he can really light it up. Evan Smotrich is 6'9". Novak is 6'4" senior. Douglas also a senior. And Trey Burke is the freshman point guard. Under the tutelage of John Beilein. Had a terrific season last year, especially down the stretch, to secure that NCAA tournament bid for Michigan. Now for Memphis. The Tigers, as Jimmy mentioned, super quick. Joe Jackson makes them go. Witherspoon is 6'9". Will Barton coming off a standout game. Tarek Black has to stay out of foul trouble. And Josh Pastner in his 3rd year, 34 years old, won more games his first 2 seasons than any Memphis coach ever has. And we kick off Feast Week with a dandy here. 2 teams inside the top 20 here in Maui. And Michigan 5 seconds.
That is a terrific start, though, for Tim Hardaway Jr., a guy that sometimes you watch him on tape, it'll take him 6 or 7 minutes into a ball game to attack the rim. In the opening seconds, Tim Hardaway drives it with some authority. Foul trouble for Memphis, something to keep an eye on early, especially Tarek Black.
And Tim Hardaway Sr. on hand in Maui. Why wouldn't he be to take in a little vacation?
Yeah, you are a
Memphis last season 25-10. They went 10-6 in Conference USA. Eventually losing Arizona by 2 in the second round of the tournament, and quickly getting on the scoreboard here. Nice drive there by Joe Jackson, a point guard.
He's got blow-by ability. The surge and the speed that Jackson plays with, and he keeps it under control this year so far very well.
Here's Novak. He can stick it from outside the 3. And again, Burke running the point, just a freshman from Columbus, Ohio. Nice drive here for 2.
Well, we've answered the question. Does Michigan have the ability to go make a play? Trey Burke doesn't have the size of Darius Morris, who was 6'5", but boy, he went right around one of the quickest defenders in college ball in Jackson.
One thing that Josh Pastner has really done with his team, a long one here by Barton off the mark, is hydrated them. He's been giving them a huge bottle of Gatorade and a huge bottle of water after every practice, and making sure, because that can get away from you here in Maui.
Yeah, very similar to the other broadcasters that are here for the night session.
Novak way downtown to drill in the three. He's really their leader. And can hit the three-pointer. Great drive inside for two by Charles Carmouche, the senior from New Orleans.
But can Michigan guard the ball? I don't know it's a simple statement. Can they guard the ball well enough to hang with Memphis? Michigan's offense, Dave, just based upon three-point shooting. Half of their attempts on the year from that three-point line. Memphis must chase them off of it.
Michigan came in very cold shooting, however. Carmouche into the paint to the left hand, no. And a foul will go the other way here in the opening moments at the EA Sports Maui Invitational. Michigan and Memphis last met in 1996 at the Rainbow Classic. Michigan was ranked 4th at the time. They were 8-0. Memphis was unranked but upset the Wolverines 73-72. Tark Black already with his second foul. Jimmy, this is the second consecutive game he's gotten in foul trouble in 2 minutes.
Well, he did it against Belmont as well, and this is a bad dude with an attitude around the rim that Memphis has to have on the floor. So now things kind of even out size-wise for Michigan. With their Cowboy series, hit the high post and get cutted. That's good offense.
Smotrich went for it, couldn't get it to go down. Well defended, right up there on the iron. Carmouche deep into the corner. Shoveling it inside. The spin move there, and Simpson is hammered. That one knocked out of bounds. No foul on that play. Plenty of contact, but no whistle. They may let them go. So Carmouche will check it in for Memphis. Barton on the outside. His brother Antonio, the younger brother, also on the Memphis team. And a very good point guard. There's Jackson. Barton on the spin, got tied up by Morgan, and a foul there with 17:33 to go in the first half.
Smart play by Will Barton, because he had a mismatch. Jordan Morgan out on him, and then Morgan too big of a defender at 6'8", 250. And Will Barton gave it up and asked for it right back and attacked and got the call.
Knocked away. They will retain possession. Memphis went on to win the Conference USA tournament last year. They stumbled down the stretch, but then won that conference tournament. And that automatic bid got them into the NCAA tournament. Jackson lays it up, and it rolls off the iron. Now Michigan trying to push the tempo. Burke a little bit out of control, the freshman. Ohio State's Mr. Basketball is a senior, and a Parade Magazine All-American.
And he will be tested. I think the key for Michigan and Trey Burke, does he play to the speed of John Beilein's system, or does Memphis get him out of it? And this is a lot on his platter for a freshman point guard on the big stage of Maui against this type of speed that the guys in white are going to throw at him for 40 minutes.
Our officials, Dick Cartmel, Scott Thornley, and Ryan Wells. Ryan Wells, who referees in Hawaii exclusively. Off the inbounds, Hardaway with a feathery touch.
Great lift and great explosion and a high release from a kid that's 6'6", and looks to me like he's still growing. A long athlete that can get good vision of the rim on the jump shot.
So Michigan on top 8-4. Yeah, Hardaway's actually grown an inch. He's gotten a lot stronger than a year ago. A little bump, and again, they are letting him go. Simpson did not get the foul. That one tipped. There we go the other way. It's going to be Michigan ball here. Wolverines 21-14 last season, 9-9 in the Big Ten. And that stirring run to win 10 of their last 15 to snare an NCAA tournament bid. And they beat Tennessee by 30 in the first round before falling to Duke.
Nice. That's beautiful. You talk about pressure release that was built to take out this Memphis pressure. That is as good as you can do it.
So Michigan opens up a 6-point lead. A lot of talk about would they be able to score it. Simpson loses it. Put the dribble down, and he kicks it away to the Wolverines.
Well, watch Tim Hardaway. He takes one step higher on the floor and gets his defender, Will Barton, to bite the bait. The step high, boom, the back cut, the time of the pass, and on target to perfection.
So Hardaway with 5. Michigan was shooting the ball very poorly. They're 3-0, but they have not shot it well at all.
And if you want to get your shooting woes corrected, this is a terrific gym to do it in. Shooter's background, much like a high school gym. Talking to Steve Wojciechowski, the assistant from Duke, MVP here at one point, and he said the same thing.
Witherspoon goes in hard. He draws the foul after picking that one clean. And Morgan will pick up his second foul from Michigan. Jordan Morgan, the 6'8" sophomore from Detroit.
Memphis plays with hot hands defensively around that ball, and you get loose with it, they rip their first 3 steps. Bam! They are into attack mode.
Witherspoon knocks down the first one. The senior from Atlanta coming off 22 points against Belmont. He's a key man from Memphis because he can really play. He had 24 points, 12 rebounds against Northwestern State last year, 20 and 7 against LSU.
Basketball just hasn't been the most important thing in his life up to this point in his career. So far in his senior season, it has been.
Novak lost the dribble, back to Burke. Of course, this is the team without Darius Morris, who was their engine last season. Burke with a pull-up pop. Got it.
Here's what Memphis is gambling on in this ball game. Chase him off the 3, and can Michigan make enough 2s to win this thing? So far from Michigan, the signs say yes.
Thomas, long distance, drops in a 3. Adonis Thomas, the freshman, looking very, very confident. Passner just loves him.
Well, he's a big-time talent. He has an NBA-ready body. About as good as you'll find in this freshman class right now in college basketball. Maybe what he does best so far, knock down open shots.
Smotrich gets a lane, little bump, off the window for 2. Strong move by Evan Smotrich, the sophomore from Reading, Mass.
It's one thing to chase teams off the 3-point line. It's another thing to give up straight line drives.
Witherspoon, a little short. Hardaway wants to push it. Has Smotrich out in front. He'll take it himself and draw the foul. So Tim Hardaway Jr. will be going to the line.
Big time start by the Wolverines. Wolverines not known for their speed and quickness, but so far they've had a little bit of their own blow-by ability. Good start, John Beilein.
Back at the EA Sports Maui Invitational quarterfinals, Michigan with a sharp start, a 14-9 lead. Really picking up where they left off last year. But last year, they were 11-9, 1-6 in the Big Ten. Heading to their game in Michigan State, Caitlin Lucas had 27, but Stu Douglas hit a 3-point field goal with 20 seconds left. That sealed the win. Wolverines' first victory in East Lansing since '97. Jimmy, that really jump-started their late-season run to the NCAA tournament. They got a win, and again, almost knocked off Duke.
Well, and they did it mainly behind the play of Darius Morris, a guy that played early for the NBA draft and kind of put Michigan in a little bit of a bind with the decision. And all signs pointing to him returning this year. So now that playmaking, go make a play, go buy someone, responsibility falls on the shoulders of the freshman Trey Burke. But really good late surge last year by Michigan. It's a system that you're up against when you play these guys.
Now they lost Darius Morris, their scoring and assist leader. Hardaway Jr. smooth at the line. He enjoyed a fine freshman year, averaging 14 again. That's what he's doing this season. All Big Ten honorable mention as a freshman. He has 7. Trying to curl in. Barton gave it up. Here's Will Barton in the corner. Here's his brother Antonio helping out at the point. See plenty of brother activity when we see Duke later today. There's Barton in and out from long range.
Yeah, Michigan switching a lot of stuff that time defensively. Memphis settles for a jump shot instead of playing with the boards. They play across the boards.
Hardaway Jr. starting to get it rolling, isn't he? He's not wasting any time here in Maui.
His size is a real problem. That's 6'6", and you watch where he releases the ball from on a jump shot and his explosiveness into it. Tough to handle.
Son of the 5-time NBA All-Star. He had 30 against Iowa last year, 26 against Indiana. So he can be explosive. Work up top for Novak.
Will be they stay with their pressure. Important that the off-ball defenders against this press, this Michigan offense, stays between the rim and their guy.
Barton taking it one-on-one off the window, and the rebound tipped out. It'll be Memphis ball.
What I love about Hardaway, watching him on the island, he really works at his game like a pro, and you expect he learned those lessons from his dad with the killer crossover all those years. This is the guy that has a plan for his basketball future, a plan in life under the studious eye of his father right now.
Jackson will set it up now for Memphis, whirling his way in. The kick out here for Crawford, just into the ball game to knock back a three.
When there's that first step of Joe Jackson to get into the teeth of the defense, read it well, make the kick.
The pastor said they expect Crawford to shoot the three a lot better. But look at the ball movement as Novak lays it in. And the Wolverines picked them apart. That's 5 for Novak.
Well, your description so well. Crisp, clean offense by Michigan to start this game.
That's exactly what the Wolverines needed. Up top, Jackson swishes it in. A smooth 2 for Joe Jackson, the point man.
You know, if you're Michigan, you will take Memphis taking first side of the floor jump shots in this ball game. Make some, so be it.
Smotrich into the lane, off the fake, leaning in, left it short, and the Tigers want to run. Thomas gave it up, a wild charging move there, but it's going to be a block on the play against the Michigan Wolverines. Witherspoon went in rather wildly.
There's Jackson again. He draws all the teeth of the defense to him. They bite in the corner 3, which is so prevalent right now in basketball. And that's the proper call. That defender has to have both feet set. Torso facing, wasn't quite there.
So Wesley Witherspoon to the line. Key man for Memphis, 6'9" senior. In a 2-game suspension last year for mocking an assistant coach and missed games because of injury as well. He actually missed a total of 12 games.
Dave, I think he's gone to another level with his maturity, as has Joe Jackson, Will Barton. Watching them practice at Memphis prior to the Belmont game and here on the island, they have a focus that they did not have at all last year.
Smotrich has it ripped right out of his hands by Adonis Thomas. And Jackson stepping into the lane. And now Antonio Barton will take it out for the Tigers. Ranked number 8 in the country. Michigan number 15. A floater into the lane by Chris Crawford. He's made an impact right away.
He might be their best all-around player. He can defend his tail off. He knocks down threes. He's good off the bounce. Thinks one pass ahead.
So Memphis has pulled it in 1. Novak thought about the 3.
Well, Memphis just climbing up into the kitchen right now defensively and asking Michigan watch for supper. Again, chasing them off the 3-point line. That's the game plan coming in.
Hardaway with the shot clock down to 7. That one tipped. So a timeout on the court. Pretty move by Chris Crawford, who's nailed a 3. And now a stylish 2. And Memphis is on the attack in Maui.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Origin Insider Deals. Get 40% off Madden NFL 12 during this game only at Origin Insider Deals on Facebook. Audi, Truth in Engineering, and Chase Freedom. Don't get shortchanged. Get your cash back with Chase Freedom.
A 1-point game in our first quarterfinal. 11:38 to go here in the first half. Michigan up by 1. ESPN Feast Week presented by Lowe's. And what a field here. Today's matchup, the first of 4 quarterfinals. Coming up next, Tennessee takes on a Duke team that has never lost in Maui. The Blue Devils a perfect 12-0 all-time record here in Lahaina. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. You can see the entire tournament on our ESPN family of networks. The championship game Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern.
A combined 20 national titles from the participants in this year's Maui Invitational. Powerful jerseys are on the island. And I talked about it in the open. Who knows how to win a championship? Who prepares to win a championship? Watching Duke practice yesterday, went for just a little over an hour. Coach K knows the formulas for success for the 3-day stretch here. You're not going to win this tournament Saturday and Sunday. You better be prepared for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And Just the small things you see from Coach K tells you why he's sitting there with 9:04.
Talk about her open. You look very, very comfortable on that catamaran.
How can you not be?
Shot clock.
Comfortable catamaran.
There'll be a problem. You had 1 second to strip and a shot clock violation. So you mentioned a tight defense by the Tigers the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Well, they're not going to give up threes in this ball game. I mean, Michigan can rattle off 5, 6, 7 2-point baskets on Josh Pastner, and he's not going to get rattled. In practice yesterday, at least 10 times, he said, quote, "They cannot make enough twos to beat us." Drove the point home time and time again.
See the Tigers on the floor. They're on a 10-2 run. Crawford's had a hot hand coming off the bench, almost knocked away by Vogrich into the ball game for the Wolverines. They've got the shot clock down to 10 now. Barton calling for some motion. They're pointing at the shot clock. Here's the shot by Thomas. Not the one they wanted, but the shot clock was dwindling down.
Memphis guarded himself on that possession, did not move off the ball well at all.
Kune now to the ball game for the Wolverines. They usually only go about 8 or 9 deep at the most. Novak swings it. Here's Douglas. Stu Douglas, the senior. Here's Douglas firing. Got it. A three. He hit the bomb to clinch the big win at Michigan State last winter. Barton airborne with the flick. Here's Jackson up high. Michigan, a team that attempted 23 threes a game last year, but only hit 35%. Jimmy, they were only hitting 30% coming into this one.
Well, and right now, their numbers so far this season for Michigan, attempting 25 two-point shots a game and 26 threes. A little out of balance.
Douglas with the shovel for Novak. Got a good look, but a whistle underneath. 9:52 to go in the first half.
Well, the hedge is late. They get a mismatch inside and bring the mismatch into the ball screen action. And Joe Jackson just late recovering out to the shooter. Michigan's so good at seeing where's the mismatch, bringing the mismatch into the on-ball action, making you pay for your mistake.
Horford picked up the foul, so he will exit.
If any time Memphis shoots a three before playing with the boards instead of across the boards in this game, it favors Michigan. Memphis wants to attack. That's where they're at their best.
Big Blake McClimans comes into the ball game wearing number 22 for Beeline. So he's going to his bench a little more frequently here early. What a catch effort there anyway by Will Barton on the baseline to draw the foul as it rolled off his fingertips. Tremendous athletic move just to get his hands on it. And a foul will go against Vogrich, his first.
You know, Memphis runs a lot of mid-post screening and then letting their wings make plays. And this time Barton kind of started to go up high off of the mid-post and goes baseline. 6'6", 175, a guy that, you know, against Belmont, he was 7 out of 8 from the two-point part of the floor. That's still where he's at his best, trying to improve as a three-point shooter, but don't go away from your strength from your freshman to sophomore year.
See, last season playing over 30 minutes a game. Came to Memphis out of Baltimore. Very lofty expectations, but ran hot and cold as a freshman. He was ranked 8th on the ESPN 100 list of recruits last year. But as Jimmy mentioned, 23 against Belmont and got him.
Memphis with 6 top 100 guys on their roster. Josh Pastner, an absolute bloodhound and bulldog on the recruiting trail.
Michigan beating the pressure. And now Burke flicks it out. Here's Douglas, not afraid to shoot that at all, but it glances off. Michigan trying to contain it, but can't, and it's back over to Memphis.
And it's a little bit of a gamble by Memphis to full court press because it will allow Michigan's three-point shooters to get open looks. I think Josh Pastner will trust his gut and use it sparingly in this ball game.
Now, technically, Memphis has won more games since 2005 than any program except Kansas, 186. However, the NCAA ruled Memphis had played with ineligible players in 39 of 40 games back in 07-08. They forfeited 38 wins from that season. Taking those away, it's 148 wins since 05, and that's tied for 22nd most in the country.
Michigan won 3-1 for the first time today. And Memphis has not handled it well. They're playing catch around the perimeter.
Crawford has to shoot it up with a shot clock at 2. It's tipped away and controlled by the Wolverines.
Michigan didn't use that 1-3-1 much at all last year until the NCAAs, but they always have it in their pocket.
Bogrich on the baseline draws contact, and a foul with 8:27 to go in the opening half at the EA Sports Maui Invitational. And that'll bring back onto the court for Memphis Adonis Thomas, and Tim Hardaway Jr. after a breather will also return, and Douglas will step out for John Beilein. Inbounds for Christian. Good look inside for the bank shot.
Yeah, that's an easy play to guard. Simple screen the screener. Everybody in America uses it. Memphis is just not ready to play on the touch of the ball.
Will Barton gives up the dribble. Here's the point guard, Jackson. Baseline drive, Carmouche. All of a sudden, it's the Wolverines tightening up defensively.
Well, they're guarding the ball. They're guarding the ball very well.
Carmouche jumping into the lane. But a whistle. That was with 8 seconds on the shot clock. So really making Memphis work. Coming up in just a moment, Memphis jumps into some Hawaiian tradition. We'll take a look at the Tigers' view of their Hawaiian leap when we come back to Maui. Back at the EA Sports Maui Invitational, look at our tremendous brackets. Championship game coming up on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Still to come, Tennessee and Duke. That follows our game. Duke has never lost here. UCLA and host Chaminade. Georgetown and Kansas. Those are the evening games. A little later with Sean Jay and Bill. Not all work here. Plenty of fun and games. Yes, Wesley Witherspoon reminds us, and he was the unofficial team judge at Black Rock the other day.
Yeah, Drew, 2, 1. That was whack. I'll give Drew a 7.5. Preston gets a 1. There was no creativity, no style, no tricks, no nothing.
Get a 1 just for showing up.
That's a beautiful spot, Black Rock. I was there with my family early Friday morning, swimming in the water about 4 or 5 feet deep, and looked down, and a sea turtle about the size of a bass drum is at my feet.
No kidding.
And I could have petted this guy. He just took his time floating around. What a terrific spot, though, that area. All the teams have gone down there.
You have done it all. You've snorkeled, and you've been doing a catamaran and swimming with sea turtles. You've had a remarkable vacation.
In between watching film, of course, with you and in the room till 2 or 3 in the morning.
Third, ordering another pizza. Here's Jackson. Off target, but the follow-up by Carmouche, who started 28 games last year and got about 25 minutes a game. He has some hops, a 6'3" senior with 4 points.
I'm okay with the man pressure by Memphis full court. That zone press now allows Michigan to get open for 3.
Lyman setting the screen. Hardaway had it taken away. Stolen by Will Barton. Crawford trying to get it right back. Burke trying to get it right back. And it'll go the other way. Offensive foul. 7:09 to go in the half.
Easy call to make. Will Barton beats his guy, but doesn't read the second defender quick enough. And the second defender just standing there waiting on him. Michigan's made 8 two-point shots in this game. Memphis is gambling that they can't make enough to win it.
Hardaway Jr. hot hand early in this one. Airball blocked away. Memphis with the stuff. Adonis Thomas got a piece. And they force a turnover. Carmouche baseline drive. Oh, what a quick, strong step.
Yeah, very good again. Their first 3 steps in transition and their first 1 step in the half court off the bounce. Speed kills on the mainland or on the island.
First time the game has been tied. Quarterfinal number 1. Here's Burke way downtown off the mark. Christian trying to keep it alive. He does. Carmouche reaching in, tried to tie him up. Bogridge is open, got an excellent look. Jackson, Carmouche thought about the three. Now another great drive.
And Obi, I think that play right there by Carmouche tells us what Josh Pastner has talked about in timeouts. Don't settle for threes on the first side of the floor in this ball game. Carmouche could have settled for a three right there. He doesn't settle, he attacks, and Memphis right now on RPM's high.
Memphis using a terrific quickness to jump into the lead, 27-25. 6:03 to go in the opening half of this quarterfinal.
When you have speed, I just want to watch guys here on the turnover. Their first three steps. The turnover's going to come right there. Bam! 1, 2, 3. They're off and running full speed. That speed and that urgency about it, hard to handle.
Carmouche with all 6 on a 6-0 drive, and a quick step of his own there by Bogridge to wriggle in and tie the game at 27. So the Wolverines come right back, and now Memphis with the ball. Jackson nearly gave it up. Barton deep in the corner. Being denied that baseline.
There's just not a lot of off-ball movement by Memphis in their offense half court.
Carmouche around the back pass. Here's Thomas. Can't finish that one up, and a nifty give. Burke trying to drive hard, and he palmed it. He gives it up. A turnover. It'll be Memphis ball. 6 turnovers for the Wolverines.
Burke has to control his pace now. He's up against the speed that he hasn't seen, although he was Ohio Mr. Basketball. Very well coached by Satch Sullinger. Jared Sullinger's dad, who knows how to play the game, but this speed now, it's adjustment on the fly.
In fact, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Joe Jackson were teammates this summer on USA Basketball's U19 team. So they go back away. Good history there, but enemies today here on the island.
Memphis trying to post the middleman in the 1-3-1 to try to gain an advantage.
Carmouche. Thomas floats it up, no. Well, back looking for help, back to the point guard. Looking for Bogridge underneath. Smotrich before the shot, a whistle there to go against Memphis with 4:38 on the first half clock.
I like how Michigan has moved the basketball in this ball game. At times, Memphis isn't guarding, they're chasing. And it's the right pass that Michigan's making, not the extra pass. Extra passes to me result in turnovers. Right passes result in good plays.
Witherspoon just picked up his first foul from Memphis. And the Wolverines to set it up in a 27-27 tie. Novak off the screen. Stripped away, stolen clean by Witherspoon. Thomas with the fall away. Got it.
They run their wings wide in their first big to the block, and this time the wing wide was Adonis Thomas. Almost dribbled himself out of a good shot, but got himself under control to stick it.
Thomas, just a freshman, tremendous talent. 6'6", he's going to be a matchup nightmare. Douglas calling for help from Burke and thrown away. A sloppy pass by Michigan. That's not the way they've been playing.
They've been clean up to the last 2 possessions. You get loose with the basketball right there. Novak gets loose, and it allows Memphis to get loose. They have numbers, and they convert.
Ryan, Lenny, thank you very much. Memphis with a 29-27 lead here at the EA Sports Maui Invitational, half number 1. And follow the coverage of the Progressive CBE Classic tonight on ESPN2. Missouri taking on Notre Dame.
It's really a nasty defender, strong, tough, knocks down threes, makes plays. It's an interesting Missouri ball club this year in that Big 12. Not a clear-cut team in that league, although I think it still runs through Lawrence, Kansas, regardless if Kansas has the best talent or not.
And we will see Kansas against Georgetown in one of the evening matchups. UCLA and the host Chaminade, who of course had the shocking upset against Virginia to launch this entire event. Those are the evening matchups with Sean, Jay, and Bill coming your way on ESPN.
1-3-1 again by Michigan. May evolve into a 2-3, and this time it does. Just making the speed of Memphis have to pause and think a little bit here.
Tigers doing a good job hanging on the ball. They've only turned it over twice. Michigan 8 times here in the first half. Shot clock down to 7. Carmouche gives it up for Crawford.
Michigan got exactly what they wanted out of the zone, out of the timeout. A long Memphis three-point shot attempt.
See if they can get Tim Hardaway going again on the Michigan side. He was really hot in the opening moments. Burke finds Douglas. He lines it up. There's a whistle, a shove that'll go against Michigan in the lane. Smotrich with the personal. Now look at our Origin three-point scoring summary. Michigan 2 out of 8. Memphis 2 for 9. So no one's sizzling beyond the arc yet.
And I think it favors Michigan. If Memphis has as many or more attempts than Michigan in this ball game from 3, that favors the Wolverines.
So Antonio Barton will go to the line. 68% foul shooter a season ago. Will's younger brother. He can run the point very effectively. In fact, he got the start in Memphis NCAA tournament loss to Arizona. He's 6'2".
Nope. Dave, Memphis has a bunch of sophomores throughout their lineup, but this is to me it's a veteran team these days in college basketball because of all the minutes that those freshmen played last year through the Conference USA tournament, winning on UTEP's home floor, going to the NCAAs, playing the socks off of Arizona. This is a young Memphis team with a ton of experience.
Hardaway Jr. Carmouche comes out to guard him. Douglas will wind up another one, and that one he knocks down a three-pointer.
When he stuck that one with a good closeout by Memphis. Michigan, a team that charts their three-point shots in 3 areas. What did we do against a hard contest? What did we do against a late contest? And what did we do against no contest? That was a good, solid, hard contest that Michigan just sticks it.
Douglas recruited as a shooter. He's been up and down in his career at Michigan, but one thing Beeline loves about him is he's become such a good defender.
Yep. Multiple position defender guy.
So 1-point game here in the first half of game 1 at the EA Sports Maui Invitational. Spectacular field here. Carmouche loves that move to jump into the lane. Gives it off for Jackson. Bank shot, no. Smotrich wants to take it himself. Not a good idea. Scramble for it. Burke comes up and a wraparound foul. He'll go against Memphis. So a little herky-jerky on both ends of the floor. Foul number 2 on Crawford.
Well, Michigan's zone defense, very impressive when they've gone to it a handful of times here. They're not getting overstretched, but they're also not getting too compressed. They're in that just magic area, close enough to discourage threes, tight enough to take away gap drives.
Burke shooting a 1-and-1. 2:02 to go here in the first half. Passer getting the message it was indeed a 1-and-1. So Burke with another one coming. High school teammate of Jared Sullinger there in Columbus, Ohio, and makes the second. So tied at 31.
Again, the zone has made the speed of Memphis just pause. It's like a yellow flashing sign in these guys right now.
Barton from the corner. Won't fall for him. Burke out in front. Lays it in. Decided not to put it to the deck. What a great decision.
It certainly was. Had he laid it to the deck, white jerseys would have covered him up. So
Michigan back into the lead. Here's Barton. And that won't fall. And now there's a lid on it for Memphis. They were not a good three-point shooting team a year ago, just 33%. That is not their attack. Hardaway Jr. will lift. Got an excellent look at that, but it won't fall and knocked out a play. 1:11 to go here in the first half.
Well, Michigan very good at getting that ball out and taking advantage when they do have numbers. It's just been 2 or 3 times in this game, but when they've had it, they've read it. A little version of their own rip and run.
Douglas giving off for Burke. Short jumper, yes.
Memphis isn't guarding right now. They're chasing the ball instead of guarding.
Michigan by 4.
They can't play across the boards right now against this zone. They have to attack north-south, not east-west.
Garmouche around and around and out. Final seconds. 37 seconds left before the half. Hardaway with a stop and pop. Oh, yeah. Sweet touch by Tim Hardaway Jr.
Wasn't that a good clean stop by Hardaway?
Memphis trying to get it inside and take advantage where they have points in the paint decidedly in their favor. 37-31 the Wolverines, and now their fans are getting excited here in Maui. They have turned the tables on Memphis with a strong run in the last couple of minutes. Already 3 ties and 3 lead changes. Michigan is led by 9. Memphis with a biggest lead of 4. And still to come, we have Duke against Tennessee. A look at the brackets. Chock full of spectacular college basketball tradition. UCLA and Chaminade to come, and Georgetown and number 14 Kansas also coming your way. And if you're a college basketball fan and you can stand a little sun, there's not a better place on earth to be.
Not at all. And you learn so much about your ball club over 3 days and your staff. How do you prepare? Embrace the scouting report, flush it out of your system, get on to the next one. I've loved Michigan's preparation for 2 days on the island, and I like what I've seen out of them so far. They know that if this becomes a track meet, then the guys in white are going to blow this thing open. So what John Beilein has done, not a steady dose of that zone, but just enough to make Memphis stop and think and give pause on the offensive end, and Memphis has not handled it well.
The Tigers have missed their last 5 shots. Michigan's on a 10-0 run. The last 2:42. So they have jumped into the lead by 6. Memphis ball. Will Bart trying to get it in.
Obi, who wins this timeout? Josh Pachner calls it. He knows he needs a momentum basket right now. Can't afford for a turnover. Michigan to throw one in. Who wins this timeout? Very critical.
10 seconds before the half. They'll hold for the last shot. Jackson, a point guard, trying to use a screen. And knocked away. Great defense here in the final seconds by the Michigan Wolverines on the knockaway by Crawford. And now both teams are going to have to be separated. Starting to get a little bit chippy. And the officiating crew has to move them off the court quickly here as the pushing and shoving continues. So a high-octane first half, and it ends with some bad blood.
Well, it also ends with a bad play by Memphis. They waited too late in the shot clock to go. And Joe Jackson put himself in a position to take a tough 2. Didn't allow any form of an offensive rebound. And he didn't make his move till about 3 seconds to go. And there's the block, and the frustration, I think, is what we saw as the teams left the floor. I think the official will go to the monitor and check this thing out, because there is some pushing, some shoving. Not sure if there was a closed fist activity, which would designate a fight attempt. But this is, again, a lot of sophomores on the floor, a lot of experience from Memphis. But their immaturity showed up the last 30 seconds of the first half.
So the officiating crew of Cardmell, Thornley, and Wells are going to the monitor to see if a punch may have been thrown. We didn't see anything from our vantage point, but they're going to see if they can iron it out over there. There may be repercussions when we return for the start of the second half. We're at the end of the first half, where it's Michigan leading. We welcome you back to the EA Sports Maui Invitational from the Lahaina Civic Center in Maui, Hawaii. Getting ready for the start of the second half, all part of ESPN's Feast Week, presented by Lowe's. Memphis and Michigan, our brackets. The winner will move on to face the winner of Tennessee and Duke, which is coming up next on ESPN2. Later, UCLA and Chaminade, and Georgetown and Kansas in the other quarterfinals. Now, Jimmy Dykes, It got a little bit hot right at the end of the first half. The Crawford block on the Jackson layup attempt. And then both teams got a little bit heated.
Well, there's a lot of passion in the first half, which you expect. And then 5 in white. Will Barton, a little bit of shove with Zach Novak from Michigan. And both kids are stuck with a dead ball technical foul. They offset. No free throw, no penalty. We'll resume play to start the second half just like we normally would. But I think Memphis got a little frustrated the last minute. And that last possession kind of escalated a little bit. Which club now settles back down quickly and starts playing basketball? Michigan's done a lot of good things in this game, Dave.
Including shooting 60%. This was a cold shooting team coming in.
It was, especially from the three-point line. The game plan from Michigan is to go ahead and take the twos that Memphis is forcing us to take, and they've been awfully good at it. Look at that, 2-point field goals, 12 out of 15. And this is a club that's built to knock down threes, but Memphis's defense has chased them off the three-point line. And will they continue to do that? Memphis gambling that the team in yellow can't make enough twos to beat us. The speed of Memphis, though, is what will kill you if you allow it to play into the game. Joe Jackson has great control of his speed. They run the wings wide. I think it's so important the first 2 minutes right now. Who settles back in? The emotions are going to stay there, but who settles back into the game plan and gets after it?
So Memphis with the basketball to open up the second 20 minutes. Quickly getting it inside to Black. On the baseline, Barton for the slam.
A little bit of an overload to the short corner. Something that Memphis had to talk about at the halftime break. They didn't do it in the first half against the zone. The first possession of it, bam, 2 points.
Memphis man-to-man, very sticky at times in the first half to force turnovers. Novak almost got bottled up. Here's Burke out high. Well, we expected a high-octane game if Michigan was making shots, and they did. You made a great point about being in a gym of this size. It's a great shooting backdrop. Now the shot clock is down to 4. Smotrich spins, tosses it up, a lot of iron, but the follow-up and good by Jordan Morgan.
Now Memphis was so anxious to run. They do everything that time on the stop except clean up the miss.
See who has the basketball. We'll go the other way here. 39-33. 3 turnovers for Memphis in this one. Michigan will have it. The Tigers have actually done real good work hanging on to the basketball, but they trail by 6. Now this young man Burke had a really fine first half.
Just maybe twice, I think, he got out of the speed that he wants to play, and the Michigan staff wants him to play. They have ran their offense like they want to run it.
Foul against Memphis. You see there Burke with 9. Third foul for Barton. One of those, of course, the technical. So Will Barton getting into some trouble. He's coming off 23 points on Tuesday against Belmont.
And Tarek Black from Memphis with 2 fouls. Did they drag him into a ball screen?
Around and out by Burke, and here come the Tigers on the attack.
And Michigan really not making much of an effort at all to the offensive glass, and out of respect for Memphis's ability to run.
Black trying to wriggle. Lost in Maui. And 4 times won the EA Sports Maui Invitational. Second foul on Smotrich. So Black to shoot.
This guy is such a hoss. I mean, just one time in my life I'd like to walk down the beach of Maui with a body like that. He is so important to Memphis's success this year. Down from 250 last year to 233. Has really chiseled himself.
And Black has trouble with fouls at times.
And he's playing with 2 fouls right now. If you're Michigan, you know, drag Tarek Black into a ball screen action and see if you can get a third on him.
Novak freed up for a long one. Got it. It's all net.
And that's on Tarek Black. I like the use of Jordan Morgan as a screener, knowing that Tarek Black is now going to be responsible for recovering to a 3-point shooter. Can't get there.
Novak with 8 points. He's really their leader. And their best foul shooter, an outstanding 3-point shooter when he gets it going. On the drive with a spoon. Drive with a one hand, but a blocking foul. Morgan going down.
There's that screen by Jordan Morgan, and it forces Tarek Black to have to hedge out strong. He's late. Defender gets picked off. Michigan getting the shots they want where they want to get them.
So number 3 on Jordan Morgan. Witherspoon, who hit 77% last season. And Michigan goes back to the bench and brings on John Horford. So Morgan in trouble with a lot of time left. Witherspoon very smooth, makes the pair. He has 7 points. Memphis pressing again. Burke able to break that. On the fake, Smotrich to get himself closer. Nicely done.
Again, I think the press by Memphis is allowing shooters from Michigan to get open looks that they might not get in the pure half-court set.
They are hitting those shots. To spin Black and stripped on a foul. No foul, actually knocked out of play. There's another look into the corner.
Well, Burke with a good read, a good lift, a good sell of the ball fake. Wide open 13-foot shot because of it. That's a good lift. The ball got above the eyes, looks just like a real shot. The defender takes the bait.
And the Wolverines are knocking them down. Hardaway on Barton. Black, lane, no. A little bit out of control there. Witherspoon off the dribble. And a foul will go the other way. Offensive foul on Wesley Witherspoon. That'll be his second. (44-36) Michigan. Smotrich had it batted away. He's going hard to the rim. Witherspoon able to stay away from picking up a cheap foul there. On the bounce. Go back to walk it out. You see, Michigan is wearing these specially made for Maui shoes. These Maui blue sneakers. Very stylish.
Yeah, sweet, aren't they? Matching shooting shirts. Guys on the bench looking sharp.
The kids love them. Crowd wanting to travel. Shot clock down to 3. Burke from about 27 feet, barely nicking the iron. And out it goes back over to Memphis.
Yeah, will Memphis go to Tariq Black on this possession? In foul trouble right now has Jordan Morgan on the bench. And I'm not sure that Horford can handle Tariq Black if Memphis is patient and goes to him. Does he get a touch? 10 and white.
Carmouche in the paint. Knocked away. Horford with the block to slap it out of play. Horford with great upside, says John Beilein. Of course, the son of former NBA player Tito Horford and the brother of Al. So the bloodlines are there.
Plenty of time to go to 10 and white. Get him a touch.
He wanted the ball. Barton got it to go somehow off the window.
Obi, he has that size to take the ball to the teeth of the defense and get it over the top of you.
6-point game. Burke with the dish. Horford trying to wait, and the foul. Black hit him as he went up for the block. Tariq Black with his third.
There's that play I'm talking about by Barton, his ability to spin over the top of you. You know, and this foul is credited to Tariq Black, but if I'm a Josh Pastner, I credit the foul in my mind to the guy that can't contain the basketball. You break down, you can't contain the bounce, and it forces your big to come over and have to make a play and pick up a foul.
Horford, the sophomore, to the line. 72% foul shooter last year. And that one drops in.
Dave, he wants to be good. I mean, this is a guy, Horford, know about his dad and his brother, but a lot of times big guys like this, they don't choose basketball. Basketball chooses them. But this guy chose the game of basketball. He wants to be a terrific player. He works at it. He's got a great upside like you talked about. That's what I like about him, maybe as much as anything.
Now Beilein gives him a big handshake. They're pleased with his performance here in the opening minutes of the second half. And they bring Stu Douglas back on for Michigan. Foul away from the basketball as Adonis Thomas went to make his move to go against the Wolverines. That'll be number 3 on Smotrich. Back with more in a moment. 46-38 Michigan.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Lowe's, never stop improving. And Mini, exhilaration runs in the family. Learn more at miniusa.com/info.
We are underway here in Maui, Michigan, and Memphis into the second half. Tennessee and Duke still to come. UCLA and Chaminade tonight. Georgetown and Kansas. Duke is here. Coach Mike Krzyzewski, along with his lovely wife Mickey, arriving on the bus here at the Lahaina Civic Center, ready to take on Tennessee. Duke coming in, the number 6 ranked team in America, and they have absolutely mastered Maui. They are undefeated, the Blue Devils are, in 4 career trips to Maui. Perfect 12-0 in their titles in 92, 97, 2001, and 2007.
Well, they're the one program that comes to the island every time to win the championship. Coach K puts a big premium on winning and what it takes to get your name up there here in the Lahaina Civic Center, and no one's been better at it than Duke. Unbeaten.
You mentioned launching a championship. How they perceive it.
Lahaina here in 2008. They go on to win the 2009 national championship.
Barton swishing one in from the corner. That 3 makes it 46-41. He has 9.
Just the value of cutting down nets early in the season, whether it's in Maui or the CBE or Coaches versus Cancer, it teaches your guys to value wins. That's what this is all about at the end of the day.
Burke right back into the teeth of that defense. Shot clock down to 11 for Michigan, leading by 5. Burke on the dribble drive. How about the length of this one by Douglas? So Memphis looking to cut in. Barton leading them with 9. Carmouche with 8. Thomas, a little bump there. Douglas hit the deck, no whistle.
Well, a lot of one-on-one though right now by Memphis in their offense. They're good at it, but they've got to make the defenders move first.
Jackson, the kick out, long one on the way, and around and out by Barton. Michigan ranked number 15, Memphis ranked 8th in the poll. Wolverines returning 4 starters from last year's NCAA tournament team, and that one's banked in for 2. Tough shot in heavy traffic by Barton, maybe trying to do a little too much.
Yeah, tough shot, bad shot is all that was.
Douglas tried a couple from about 26 feet. Whistle here with 13:48 to go.
You know, the bad shot bone is always connected to the bad offensive rebounding position bone. Michigan, again, they turn down a 3 to get a little bit higher percentage look. Michigan's they know what they want out of their offense. They understand the pressure is coming. Memphis is staying after them, chasing them off the 3-point line. And so far, they're comfortable with making the in-game adjustment, have taken a lot of 2s in this game. Can they make enough to ultimately beat Memphis? Something we're tracking.
Horford's second foul moments ago. Novak coming out. Smotrich back on for John Beilein.
Tariq Black hasn't had a touch 2 or 3 possessions in a row now. Michigan's going to go zone. That does not mean that Tin and White shouldn't get a paw on this basketball.
Carmouche skipped that pass right off Crawford and out of play. So they turn it over. Seen a couple of sloppy turnovers like that from Josh Pastner's team, but not many. Just 5 in the game. Pastner, by the way, has hired Los Angeles Laker Luke Walton to be on his bench as an assistant during the NBA lockout.
And it looks like Luke Walton will be there for the duration. For the way that NBA lockout's looking.
Douglas, not this time. He won't try the lengthy 3. Hardaway Jr. on the handoff. Nice give. Horford with a terrific spin.
That's how they're big score. They're not a sit on your knees type offense or offensive guys. They score off of slips, on ball screening action. They rim run very well.
Luke is not a very happy assistant right now. His team is down 9. Witherspoon deep in the corner. Big lead for Michigan here in the quarterfinal. Tim Hardaway's first personal.
Dave, I continue to be impressed with Michigan's defense, where they're playing it. Close enough to discourage threes, tight enough to take away gap attacks. You can't space your zone defense much better than what Michigan's done so far in this game.
Here's Witherspoon with a corner jumper. Rebound picked off by Stu Douglas. Michigan playing with a lot of confidence. Acuna, yeah, he got the three. Eso Acuna doesn't play many minutes. What a big lift for John Beilein in Michigan. 53-41. That's their biggest lead today.
Michigan defensively right now is really clamping down out of his zone. Memphis has to make an adjustment. They could get blown out on this island.
Michigan led by 6 at half of this quarterfinal of the EA Sports Maui Invitational, part of the ESPN Feast Week presented by Lowe's.
Could Michigan score enough twos if Memphis takes away the threes? Well, so far they've got a terrific blend going between the twos and the threes, and now the Michigan three ball starting to fall. A club that has struggled so far this season knocking down threes have found their rhythm in a shooter's gym because of the background, and everything just blends beautifully for a shooter's eyes. And Michigan right now, OB, with 16 two-point makes in this game and 5 threes. That's a beautiful blend of your offense.
On the two-pointers, they're shooting 76%. And on a 7-0 run in the last 3:05 to double their halftime lead. A scramble, Jackson keeping his footing somehow. Super quick. Again jumps into the lane and draws the foul. Blocking foul on Stu Douglas, his second.
Out of timeouts in this ball game, John Beilein has gone straight man-to-man. He's gone 1-3-1 that has evolved into a 2-3. He's gone 1-3-1 that stayed a 1-3-1. All he's doing is playing a chess game with the speed and the quickness of Memphis. Making it pause, making it think, making it react.
Jackson fouled in the act of shooting, they said, missing the first one, so another one coming for Joe Jackson. Jackson was the man who really led Memphis to the NCAA tournament last year. He was kind of up and down during the regular season, more turnovers than assists, but he was terrific when it mattered the most. He was named the Conference USA Tournament MVP. So down the stretch, he was money.
And defensively down the stretch, he was money.
53-42 Michigan. Acuna with a bounce and kicks.
Shot clock will stay at 25. Intentional kick. Acuna's given him some pretty strong minutes as a second handler against the pressure.
Douglas to put it in. Novak had it knocked away. Michigan will retain. Wolverines 21 victories last year, got into the NCAA tournament. Lost Darius Morris from that team, but they get Hardaway back. He's fouled in the act of shooting. The act of shooting a three-point shot. So this will be 3 shots for him and a personal on Crawford. His third. When we come back, more on the Wildcat, the Arizona connection. Josh Pastner and Luke Walton and others when we return to Maui. Memphis head coach Josh Pastner was a walk-on freshman guard for Arizona's national title team in '97. He talks about having Damon Stoudemire and Luke Walton on his staff.
Having those two guys on staff, it gives you instant credibility when those two speak. And the other thing is it makes a good scout team because they can play against our guys. I can tell you this, 2-on-2, we win the national championship if it's a 2-on-2 game. There's no question on college basketball staffs.
Pastner, 34 years old now. He eventually moved to the bench and learned under Arizona Hall of Famer Lute Olson. Coached many players at Arizona, including Memphis assistant and LA Laker forward Luke Walton.
And those guys are actively involved on a day-to-day basis. You go watch their practice sessions. Stoudemire and Luke Walton both speaking up, taking charge. A lot of coaching going on. Josh Pastner wise enough as a young guy to absorb all he can from what those guys bring you.
Hardaway was shooting a 2, they determined, so he's at the line for 2 shots. All-American in Arizona, Luke Walton. Didn't expect to have as much time on his hands, but the trip to Maui doesn't hurt.
I don't understand that NBA lockout. If an NBA average length of a career is 5 years, are those guys really willing to sacrifice 20% of their career earnings over what's boiling down to what really doesn't affect them in a great deal? That one to me is hard to figure. Not a lot of CSI common sense index going on.
Jackson denied as it's slapped out of bounds. Michigan lockdown defense. This is the biggest lead of the game at 13 points. Horford's made a big difference in this one defensively in the second half. Black tumbling into the lane and took a foul with 11:38 to go. That's number 3 on Horford.
And I think that's what they need to do a couple of times now, get that ball to Tariq Black. Horford's not the defender experience-wise that Jordan Morgan is. Weight-wise, he matches up with Black with quickness and toughness and pure strength. Kenyon White has an advantage. Now can he convert the free throw strike and take advantage of it?
The Scuffles at the line, 59% last year. Really has to improve that foul shooting. He figures to get fouled a lot. Nice touch there for the sophomore from Memphis. Horford out. And Morgan back in for John Beilein.
And will Memphis go to a press if Tariq Black can get the second one to drop? Hasn't been effective for him so far. No turnovers by Michigan in the second half.
He makes the pair.
The press comes.
For the most part, Trey Burke has handled it very, very effectively, hasn't he?
They can't turn him. He was well coached in high school by Satch Sullinger. He understands, don't let that defense turn you bringing that ball up.
It was supposed to be Darius Morris still running things for Michigan. They have to turn the ball over to a freshman. But he's played a heady game here against Memphis. Shot clock inside 10. Douglas on the hard drive. Now the kick. Here's the jumper, and it's short by Vogrich.
Well, the opposite corner is always filled with a Michigan three-point shot.
Antonio Barton nicely done to the other side of the rim for 2. And you sense it in the gym now. Here come the Tigers. They have the momentum on their side.
Michigan, though, they have to continue to play at their pace. Don't let a Memphis speed play determine what you do right now. Your pace has been good. Stay to it.
Go back up top to Burke. Again, they're letting that shot clock get inside 10. Down to 7. Burke with the give. Morgan close in for 2.
Big time, Dave. Big time play. Burke did not predetermine what he wanted to do with the ball off the on-ball action. And again, the rim run post-up, a staple of Michigan's offense.
Barton into the lane and a foul in the paint with 10:03 to go.
The on-ball action is going to result in a rim run. Michigan, that's how they get their bigs involved. And they open up so they can see that where the defense is as they make the rim run. They are so well schooled and well taught. But Trey Burke, as a freshman, did not predetermine what he was going to do off the on-ball action. He took one strong dribble, then read the defense. Wise play for a young player.
Foul number 2 on Novak. So Antonio Barton to the line. He led the team last year in three-point accuracy. He can knock them back from their 44%. At the line, 68%. Hardaway Jr. returns. And he replaces Douglas for Michigan.
Hardaway Jr., a guy that I don't think he's afraid of Maui. Just like I expect Austin Rivers when he plays in the next game for Duke, and some of those key players that come to this island for the first time, you can get a little bit shell shook. Hardaway will not be like that. Maui will not put any fear into this kid. He's been around it before.
So the foul will go against Will Barton. That is his 4th. And Tim Sr. enjoying the moment.
But Dave, when you grow up around the game, like Austin Rivers, Curry from Duke and Hardaway from Michigan. These type of settings, they don't get to your knees. I expect all those guys I just mentioned to handle Maui well.
Well, Memphis, a tough man to lose for a long stretch. That's going to be the case, though, for Will Barton. And 4 personal fouls as he hits the bench. So Burke running the attack for Michigan. 10-point lead for the Wolverines, and they throw it away. Hardaway gives it up. Carmouche into the paint, flips it up wildly. He gave away an opportunity there to cut into that lead.
Michigan has ran the defensive transition with a purpose well in this game. Only stung a couple of times.
Burke able to control right in front of his bench. Ogric up top. Hardaway blocked. Great play there by Crawford, and to tiptoe the line and keep it. Jackson on the attack. Barton from the corner. Burke in transition. What a marvelous spin. Somehow got free to Hardaway Jr. for 2.
Yeah, a little bit of luck involved in that one for Trey Burke because he got spun around. And just a fortuitous bounce for the Wolverines.
Tim Hardaway with 15 points. So he leads all scores. Before the slam, a foul. Tariq Brown going up hard there. But a personal before that dunk. It'll be the 3rd foul on Novak.
Trey Burke right here. He loses his game. Gets spinning around and allows the low, quick, hot hands of Memphis to come into play. Boom, right there. Okay, where am I? What am I doing? I'm not sure. But the bounce comes up, and Tim Hardaway with the quick hands to go down and quickly up with it.
Tariq Black actually played some pretty good defense on that play to slap it away, but right to Michigan for an easy basket. Black will go to the line. Michigan leading 59-47. They look to have stalled the Memphis comeback attempt, at least for the moment.
They've talking to Conference USA coaches. They say that when you play Memphis, you have to scheme for Tariq Black. That's the guy that you game plan for. If that's the case, Memphis needs to make sure Tariq Black gets a lot of touches the remaining 8:30 of this ball game.
Hardaway Jr. up top for Douglas.
Michigan is fine running their offense high. Memphis is pressuring and overplaying, and Michigan's fine right now by doing that.
Smotrich held up and fouled as he went down to a knee. That'll be 4 on Tariq Black. Follow coverage of the Progressive CBE Classic, all part of Feast Week, presented by Lowe's tonight on ESPN2. It's Missouri and Notre Dame at 7:30. Then at 9:30, Cal facing Georgia on ESPN, the home court of college hoops. We have some 67 games coming your way during Feast Week. This is the very first one, and a dandy between Michigan and Memphis, 2 teams in the top 20 at the EA Sports Maui Invitational.
Now Memphis back to playing small ball. Tariq Black on the bench with 4.
Douglas to his left. Now a foul away. Can't bang that one in.
That's not Douglas's strength. He's good enough of a handler to handle the pressure and stay in the offense. He's not good enough a handler just to go one-on-one.
59-47. 7.5 to play in this first quarterfinal.
Right now, Michigan's man looks a lot like their zone. Very compact.
Here's Tim Hardaway Jr. jumping into the paint. It comes back outside for Novak off the fake. Inside the 3. That rolls off. So neither side able to cash in. Crawford to kick out for Barton. He'll attack. And it's going to be an offensive foul. A charge against Memphis.
They have 2 things in this ball game. Michigan very good at getting their defense set.
Hey, this is how we spent our day yesterday.
Yeah, we were set, weren't we?
Signing some autographs. Sailing on the high seas with my man Jimmy Dykes. Everybody else was busy working.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Maui Visitors and Convention Bureau and Visit Maui.com. The 2011 Ford F-150, built Ford tough, and Prudential. Prudential, bring your challenges.
That score has been frozen for a while here at the EA Sports Maui Invitational. First quarterfinal, Memphis leading by a dozen with 7 minutes to go. And our 3-point scoring summary brought to you by Origin. Michigan 5 out of 19. Memphis 3 for 60. And there's a lid on it for the Tigers. They've made just 4 of their last 20 overall going back to the first half.
I really like the blend, though, from Michigan in their offense this game. Michigan came into the ball game. Josh Pastner knows heavy on the 3-point attempts. Michigan was attempting 25 per game from 3, 26 shots per game from the 2-point part of the floor.
On the press, Michigan trying to get in, has to call timeout. Beeline upset about that. He jumped off that bench, not happy. He had to spend a timeout there because they could not get it in. Back with more in a moment. Michigan leading 59-50, 47 over Memphis. We showed you Duke arriving earlier. Here's Tennessee. The Volunteers to take on the Duke Blue Devils, who've never lost here in Maui. That's coming up next. We'll have it for you as soon as our first quarterfinal is complete. Konzo Martin taking over the program for the Volunteers. They look a lot different,
don't they, though? He has made some things non-negotiable in that Tennessee program. Going to class, staying in class for the entire duration.
Backdoor pass. Hardaway went for the dunk, and he's fouled. Crawford thought he had all ball there.
So good out of a timeout. Michigan understands Memphis is going to overplay and deny. They're going to try to scramble us up. That is a set play designed to get Novak, who is left-handed, to come towards his right with a left hand away from the defense to make the pass. Cannot draw it up any better and then execute any better than Michigan just did.
Memphis starting to get into some foul trouble. 16 points for Hardaway. Barton has 4 and Crawford has 4 and Black has 4.
They have played like the veteran team Michigan has in this game.
Barton getting ready to come back in along with the point guard Joe Jackson from Memphis.
It's a look by Michigan again. It's a little 1-1-3 look that really evolves into a 2-3 zone.
Thomas, denied there, and a held ball on the block by Smotrich. They got right in his face, and that forces a turnover. It'll be Michigan ball.
You cannot turn from the back to the basket and open up your shoulders. Boom. See the shoulders open up without getting his head around to read where the defense is. He opens himself up right into the shot block. And a good job by Smotrich to know he's a right-handed shooter. The left hand there, bam, just waiting on it.
Well, Memphis missed a couple of pretty good looks, but they could have crept back in it. Now it's all Michigan at the moment. Smotrich has to go off the hands and out of play. On the pass by Burke, they turn it back over to the Tigers.
Why go that deep initially out of your push if you're Burke? With a 61-47 lead and time in your favor.
Witherspoon out to Carmouche. Barton back in the game, playing in foul difficulty. Jackson off the head fake on the baseline. Yes. 61-49. Under 6. Burke has been very sure-handed for a first-year man in particular in the face of the Tiger pressure.
Yeah, he's had fast feet, fast enough feet, and slow enough mind for the most part in this game.
Hardaway again. Yeah, another 2 for Tim Hardaway Jr. with his dad looking on from the stands. He is 19.
So many good pieces and parts in that Michigan offense. That time they invert their offense, run a big guard to the block, make the guards of Memphis play post defense, and they don't do it well.
Jackson lifts. Not there from 3-point range, and a foul underneath the iron with 5:12 to go. And now Black and the Tigers trying to dig in. It'll be Novak's 4th foul. So on the Wolverine side, a man in trouble. He will remain in the game for the moment. Tarek Black to the line.
He's really benefited from Luke Walton in fall camp, just learning to deep post position and then slowing down on your move. You go to that Memphis practice, and anytime Walton Stoudemire speak up. It is all eyes and ears on me. 1, 2, 3, like in kindergarten class.
Novak out, Morgan back on for Beeline. Black looks like an improved foul shooter from a year ago, doesn't he?
Yeah, you know, his wrist at the end of the shot much better. Right down the rim line.
Memphis on a scramble. The turnover back to the Tigers. Carmouche won't wait. He buries the three. A huge shot from Memphis to get back inside 10.
Partner, when you say scramble and you're doing a Memphis game, that means good things are happening for Memphis. They'll try to scramble this game up with 4:45 to go.
Oh, Burke blew by everybody.
Now that's a good read.
Back up by 11. Now the pace really quickening as Hardaway yanks down the rebound.
And Michigan has to handle the pace. You're not going to always be able to play to your RPMs. A handful of times when you're playing Memphis, you have to be able to play to their speed. They did. They've handled it.
And they are withstanding the comeback efforts of the Tigers. Burke again in the lane. And that time, a wild effort to pass it back out of there.
Yeah, he's 50-50 right now on his judgments. Burke is the last couple of possessions.
Well, they let Carmouche all the way down the lane. And he drives in for two to make it 65-56 in a timeout.
I would think Beeline would go right to Trey Burke in this huddle and talk to him about you have to stay playing the speed that we want to play. When the game got scrambled, Carmouche made him pay. Burke with a good read on one possession, but then comes right back the very next possession and doesn't make a good read. And I expect John Beeline in this timeout to spend a lot of time in the ear of his freshman point guard.
Coming up, Tennessee and Duke on ESPN2. We'll have that for you from the EA Sports Maui Invitational. Duke, a perfect 12-0 on this court. They've won 4 times in Maui every time they've ever come. UCLA and Chaminade up next. Later this afternoon, it'll be Georgetown and Kansas tonight, midnight on ESPN2. Tennessee in the house, and the Vols are waiting to take the floor against the Duke Blue Devils.
They will play just like their head coach, Conzo Martin, played while he was at Purdue. Absolutely fight you tooth and nail on the defensive end of the floor with toughness and moxie. Value shot selection, but Tennessee has not seen the type of pressure that Duke is going to put on them in that half-court defense. Can they adjust?
Douglas in for Hardaway Jr. and a foul on the hold. 4:08 to go. Both teams in the bonus. And the second foul on Carmouche.
I like what Beeline does with his press breaker, Dave. He involves Hardaway at 6'6" and long. You can almost post him up. You can post up anywhere on the floor, and they almost post him up and let him get that outstretched arm as a target hand. Very good press breaker by Michigan.
Selected to the All-Big Ten freshman team last year. He has 20 points. Came in averaging 14. And makes them both. 67-56 Michigan.
Now Memphis is going to have to play fast on the offensive end. Play smart, play fast. Fine line to balance.
Barton scoops in. No! They got a great look on the drive. Could not cash in. And Memphis, should they lose this one, they're going to kick themselves for some of the shots they missed in the last 10 minutes. Douglas very patient with the ball. Barton out to guard. Shot clock now down to 10. Now it's 7. Douglas bouncing here. Smotrich got it. A 3. What a big shot for Michigan. With a shot clock winding down.
The trustworthy handle of Stu Douglas.
Oh, Witherspoon on top of the iron. Couldn't dunk it. He missed it. Goodness gracious. Another miss by the Tigers. 70-56 Michigan. Under 3 to go here at Maui.
Michigan's offense has been so clean in this ball game. I know they've had some turnovers, not many in the second half. It's almost like the harder Memphis presses up, the further Michigan drags their offense up, bringing everybody high. You're going to pressure us, that's fine. We're just going to space the floor and trust our power dribbles. Michigan, Dave, they're not getting a lot done off of speed dribble and quickness dribbles. It's low power dribbles, taking the ball where they want to take it and getting some open three-point looks. Michigan has had a very clean and a good game plan against Memphis in this game.
Hey, on Sunday morning near the beach at the Sheraton Maui, each of the 2011 participating coaches showed a little aloha spirit. They greeted each other with EA Sports Tournament surfboards, waxed up, ready to hit the big waves. I guess the only problem for many of them is trying to find a time to show off their surfing prowess while visiting the beautiful island of Maui. Look at this, 20 national championships combined in this field this year at Maui. 7 Maui Invitational titles. 3 of the top 8 winningest men's basketball programs ever.
The premier event this week during Feast Week. You look at the history of college basketball that runs through the jerseys of Michigan, UCLA, Kansas, Duke. Memphis has had a part of that history as well. Georgetown, just on and on and on. Dave, I'm sorry, he's had to learn on the fly today. He's going to log 34, 35 minutes a game as the only real true point guard that John Beilein has this year. And Beilein has coached him well through some adversity in this game. Understanding he's not going to be perfect. Not harping on him, encouraging him. He's done it well.
Thomas flips up the teardrop. That won't fall. Batted back out. 2.5 minutes to go, and they'll keep it. Michigan had hit 10 consecutive foul shots before the miss by Burke moments ago. As Morgan steps out. Beilein has done a brilliant job shuffling his bench today. He's gotten big contributions from guys you would not necessarily have expected. Horford tearing down the rebound.
You know what? He has shuffled his bench and he's shuffled his defense. On to react.
Have you been surprised they have neutralized Memphis' speed advantage, their quickness advantage so well?
Well, I didn't know if they could do it coming in. I knew what their game plan was going to be, and they've done it well. And it's how Michigan has played their zone. They have not been overstretched, and they've not been too compact. They have spaced their zone defense. Like we talked about spacing in offense, they have spaced their zone defense about as well as you can.
Be Memphis ball here after the tie-up. Duke fans are waiting to come on in to the Lahaina Civic Center to take on Tennessee. We'll have that one for you coming up next. Duke has already played and won 4 games. John Beilein's team with a victory here is going to go to 4-0.
Duke comes to win championships, though. It's not just Coach K and his staff. It's just kind of what they do when they come here. They expect to win. They expect to be in that title game.
It's fascinating listening to both you and Jay Billis talk about this. The way Mike Krzyzewski prepares for Maui for a tournament like this, he prepares to play 3 games. It's not all about winning that first one, because you know no matter what happens, you have to play 3 games.
Yep.
Corner jumper and a foul on the elbow here with 1:42 to go. So Michigan committing the personal to send Crawford to the line. That'll be 4 on Smotrich. It will be 3 shots for Chris Crawford.
Dave, there were 16 2-hour practices Saturday and Sunday leading up to tip today amongst the 8 squads involved. And Duke was the only team out of those 16 practices to not take their entire 2-hour limit. Saving their legs, understanding the importance of being fresh. And it's not just game 1, it's game 2 and 3. And if you want to sit and pick the brain of a guy that knows how to win 3 games in a row on the island, it's Mike Krzyzewski.
That's for sure. He's 12-0 in this gym all time. Crawford making 2 of 3. 71-58 Michigan. And back on the senior Novak, their leader. Memphis pressing again. Get it in for Smotrich. Hit that giant 3 not long ago, but now he's trying to get out of the backcourt and traveling with it.
Yeah, he lifted the pivot foot. Really good, tight, hard pressure by Memphis. I mean, Smotrich was probably the 4th option as far as who you want to get it into, and Memphis covered up everyone else. and made him become a handler.
And still time for Memphis, getting the ball back here with 1:35 to play.
Now they have to be locked and loaded right now. This thing has to get up on the scoring area of the floor real quick.
Crawford, Carmouche on the drive. There's a foul with 1:23 left. The winner to take on the winner of Duke and Tennessee. And that's going to be 5 on Novak. So that's it for Zach Novak. Senior from Indiana has fouled out.
The emotional battery of that Michigan ball club. I'm not sure there's a guy in college basketball that understands the value of all 120 or 25 games you will play in your career as much as Zach Novak. He absolutely brings it every time he laces them up.
One glances away. Horford with another big rebound. He's been tough on the glass for the Wolverines.
And they got a foul right now. You don't have any other choice. You're not going to get the steal. You're going to have to come with it.
So a timeout with 1:12 to go. 71-59, Michigan in control. 2 timeouts remaining. Memphis as well. Look at our bracket, chock full of basketball tradition. UCLA Chaminade at 9:30, and Georgetown and number 14 Kansas at midnight on ESPN2. That's with Sean Jay and Bill Raftery, Dave O'Brien, and Jimmy Dykes with it. Great to get it kicked off here between 2 top 20 teams.
If I'm shaking like a shaved chihuahua, it's because I am sitting right underneath this air conditioning unit.
Now, what is up with the AC here? It's like
wow.
It's about 85 outside, but inside, if you ever come to the Lahaina Civic Center, you're going to be well taken care of.
Yes.
You won't sweat, believe me.
Right here especially. I'm so impressed, though, with Michigan's ability to take what the defense gave them today. You know, the gamble for Memphis defensively was, can Michigan make enough twos to win this game? Michigan's answer has been yes. They've made 20 or 21 two-point baskets in this game. John Beilein has been around the block a time or two. He anticipated what Memphis was going to try to take away, and he had a game plan in place to do it.
Tie up deep in the backcourt with 1:09 left, and another timeout. So timeout called. 71-59 Michigan. On a previous play, Memphis is trying to figure out how the ball was still in the backcourt with 24 on the shot clock. Duke getting ready, the Blue Devils, to take on Tennessee in what should be a very, very good matchup. Jeff Capel now a member of that staff with Mike Krzyzewski. Of course, will come in with 904 career wins. Duke 4-time Maui Invitational champs. One of 2 undefeated teams. Syracuse also unbeaten, 6-0 here.
Well, it's just absolute dominance. And certainly you have terrific players, outstanding teams that Duke always brings to the island, but it's how they go about it. And then the value of winning the championship cannot be, I think, overstated early in the season, whether it's here or in New York or any of those early season invitational tournaments that we have on our air.
Smockers trying to give it up. He turned it over last time. They do break it. Hardaway Jr. up ahead for Horford. He waits and dunks.
Yeah, terrific spacing, whether it's their half-court offense or their press breaker. Michigan spacing offensively and Michigan spacing in their zone defense, a big part of this game and why they're going to advance.
Well, an impressive victory for the Michigan Wolverines. Memphis, not just because they were the higher ranked team, they were expected to move on in a very good game, but Michigan was not shooting it well coming in, having all sorts of problems from 3 and 2-point range, for that matter from the foul line where they were 58% coming in. But I think you made a great point as we came on the air. You're getting into a shooter's gym where guys like to shoot the basketball, and that seems to have clicked for John Beilein's team here.
It has. I think their efficiency from the 2-point part of the floor kind of made him feel pretty good about the 3-point area. Still only 30% from 3 going forward in this tournament. That number must get better for Michigan. Their offense is built to get open threes. They have to start converting at a higher rate.
27 seconds left. The foul, 73-59 Michigan. John Beilein I thought turned in one of his finest coaching performances last season. He took a very young team that lost 7 of its first 8 Big Ten games, and they turned it around down the stretch, played their best basketball of the year, and went on to the NCAA tournament.
Well coached, well prepared, well drilled team was Michigan. That's always part of the equation here. How do you handle Maui? You're going to have different styles, different things thrown at you. Can you make in-game adjustments? After that, can you get on to the next game? Just so many things you learn here over a 3-day period about your guys, about your staff. You don't bond out whale watching and snorkeling with the sea turtles. You bond through adversity and winning. That's what will be accomplished.
Big time slam by Black off the feed from Barton, but they needed a lot more of that about 15 minutes ago. And again, they break it with Trey Burke, who had some ups and downs in the second half, but generally I think they have to give him high marks for how he handled their pressure. So the clock will run out, and Michigan will knock off Memphis to get the EA Sports Invitational off in style. The Wolverines picking up where they left off in the spring. They beat Memphis 73-61. So the Wolverines will advance and will take on the winner of Tennessee and 6th-ranked Duke. That will be coming up next. The championship game of the Maui Invitational on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. Memphis went 7 for their last 31, by the way. They went ice cold. Michigan's defense had a lot to do with that. For Jimmy Dykes, I'm Dave O'Brien. The preceding has been an exclusive presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. We say aloha from Maui. We send it now to Ryan Bird in the studio.